So hello and welcome to the Potted RV. Today we're going to be doing a video on cuttings. I'm going to be doing some plant cuttings of one of my Thai basils, actually two of my Thai basils, and sending them up to Miss T with T. And I'll try to link her channel below. I don't have the subscriber range for it to actually follow, so I'll also put a link directly to her channel instead of just the tag. The way YouTube does links for small channels is kind of weird, and these are all the cuttings are going to be going to her. I have a few of these that I'm going to have to cut first. These are the same two plants that I did the deadheading and seed collecting for. So I have, this is how much they've gone to flower since. So we're going to be cutting some of those as well. I apologize if you're picking up the music. I'm hoping I can do something to remove the music. The music is actually coming from a couple of houses down outside of the RV park, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm hoping it doesn't get me a copyright strike if I can't get it out. So, see what I can do. So, I'm going to bring you a little bit in so you can see what we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and deadhead the ones like this one here that the flowers are all the way up at the top. Those are pretty much already gone to seed. Seed needs to dry. Don't need that in there to do rooting. So I'm going to show that. God, I hope that doesn't pick up, but I think it will. I'm hoping it doesn't. Alright, so we're going to come in. So some of this you're not going to be able to see on the camera, but I'm going to cut the ones that are going to seed. I don't know how well that camera adjusted to that. But we're going to go ahead and cut those out of the way. And as soon as I get enough information to make sure I'm not violating any laws in regards to doing giveaways, I am going to be giving away some of the seeds from these two plants. These two plants were originally rooted from cuttings themselves. They were rooted from Walmart cuttings, actually. Thai basil is a Thai basil is a Thai basil. I love them. They're beautiful. They've got nice purple stems. They have a beautiful smell. And they root so easily. So I'm going to try to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to pull back a bit. And, okay, yeah. So we're going to, this one may not have any real good ones for it, but let's see if I can find something. So yeah, right here. And we're going to come in and we're going to snip it. If I can move stuff out of the way. We're going to snip it right down here at the growth node. And I usually do it right above, right below the last little leaflets, and I'm going to pull those leaflets off. And I'll pull the second set of leaflets off so that I have a stem that looks like that. It has a few leaflets. Now technically I've seen people that can just, they go through and pull them all. I don't. I leave them with some. And then they end up looking like this. We're going to do a few of these. I'm going to come over and do the bigger one, which has actually a really nice one right here. So, same thing. Because I want her to be able to have one that's going to flower soon, so I'm deliberately cutting the ones with flower heads. You don't have to. In all honesty, Thai basil roots so nicely and so easily. It does wonderfully. So we're going to cut right here. And strip these leaves off, and then come up here and strip those leaves off. Yeah, I really like the length of this one right here. I'm not sure if I can get what I'm doing on the camera, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to come in here And I'm going to snip down here and come through and strip these leaves. And I'm also going to strip, because of how long this one is, I'm going to strip the third set too. And then I think that's pretty much taken enough from this one. I'm going to go ahead and catch this other flower nodes that I noticed. So we have that one. All right. Now that's actually the smaller of the two, and I was actually going to give the entire plant, this entire one to her, but after looking at how it would take to ship it, I think it's too high of a risk that it'll end up being dead when it gets there to her, because of where I'm located and how hot it would be in shipment. So I'm doing cuttings instead, so in hopes that she actually gets it alive. So we're going to do cuttings from the bigger one as well. And I'm going to bring this up as much as I can. There we go. So as you can see, this one I need to add soil to. It's a little loose in here. And turn this way so we can see what we're doing. All right, so this one is a pretty long one. I'm going to go ahead and snip down here. And I'm going to take first and second set of leaves off. Now I have found that when I do this, is sometimes if the water gets all the way up here, it'll root up here at that second set of leaves too. I will usually, if it does that, I just go ahead and bury it that high. But these aren't going in. So I don't exactly need any more Thai basil. I have a huge amount of it. So we're going to go ahead and come in here and cut this last piece here. And go ahead and strip the leaves off. Alright, so now we have, and I have this weighting it down, but this is important and I'll go over this in a minute. So now we have, these are all going to develop into seeds, and I'll probably go ahead and send them to her just as they are, the way she has plenty of seeds. I have a lot more cuttings and a whole lot more seeds already developed. There's no need for me to keep more. And then these are the ones we're going to be doing into preparing for rooting. Now, I tend to, like this one, I don't like the cut on it. Let me make sure I'm in the camera view. So yeah, I don't like the cut on it. This is a little too hard nodule cut right there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. These are actually dulling and I need to sharpen them. That actually probably wouldn't affect it, but I do it anyways that way. So this right here is a rooting powder. It's a rooting hormone. It's primarily what I use when I do water rooting. I don't typically do soil rooting. I know a lot of people do. I just find it too long and too inconsistent, so I do it via water. So what I typically do is I'll have a jar of water. Now this one does have water in it. I deliberately have its lid on it, and this is actually going to be sent with all of this to Miss T. She's getting the jar too, because this jar comes in handy and I have several others. So I take off the lid, obviously, because you can't put them in there with the lid, and I just set the lid aside usually. So I will take a very small amount of rooting powder. You don't need much. And drop it in there. And I will link, I, in all honesty, was given these. I have a couple of these. I was given these by family members, so I don't really know if you can purchase them. I'll try to find them, but I'll link it if I can. I don't go with expensive shears and whatnot because I end up replacing them so often. On top of that, I'm kind of picky about the needle nose of it in particular. So I end up replacing them instead of purchasing really expensive ones. Like this one is due to replacement. The entire set that goes with this one is like $8. Its locking mechanism is kind of given up. I don't care. It works. So your water's going to look pretty clear, cloudy like this. That's fine. There is another way to do it, and because I'm going to be shipping that is how I'm going to do them in this regard. I'm just showing this for demonstration, but this is going to end up washed out and then shipped off to Miss T. So the other way to do it is to dip them down in rooting powder, and that's what I'm going to end up doing because I'm going to dip them down into rooting powder, and they're going to be wrapped in wet paper towel so that they ship well, and that way she has everything ready for her to just add water to it, and she just sets them in there and sets them under a windowsill. You do want them to be under a windowsill so they get plenty of light. That's the easiest way to do it. But basically, you're just going to drop them in, and all of them can go in, and you set them under a windowsill. And within a couple of weeks, it's like a week and a half for these guys, that I'll start seeing roots developed. These guys, they root really fast, but some things take a couple of weeks before you start seeing any rooting action. But you just make sure you keep them topped up. If you start seeing green algae, I usually will go ahead and wash it out just so that the plant gets more than enough light to handle it. And that's basically it for water propagation, which is what this is. This is cuttings, and the correct term for it is propagating. I just call it rooting. It's simple. You do not have to use rooting powder. It isn't necessary. It just makes the plant root a little bit faster. When you go off and you decide to cut them, you don't have to purchase this in order to get them to root. You can drop them in water just as is and set them in front of a windowsill. Give it a few weeks and they're going to root pretty readily. Any plant not all plants will root like this, but a lot of them will. I think the only one I've ever found that is a cuttings propagation plant that really doesn't won't root well in water, but I've had other people tell me that they do just fine for them. That's strawberries. I have another video explaining how I go about doing strawberries, because normally I can't get them to root by putting the plantlets in water. I have to put them in soil in order to get them to rootlet. But most plants will root like this, but not all of them will. And they're fairly simple to go about doing. It really isn't a complicated thing, and it can be kind of scary, but to be honest, it is one of the, if you're really uncomfortable with growing from seed, but you don't want to spend a lot of money, you can, if you have a gardening friend, and you can ask them for cuttings from their plants. So most gardeners are more than happy to give you cuttings because they cut a lot of it, like this. I have 2 of these guys, and I'm constantly cutting the flower heads off these guys, and still overloaded. I'm still cutting. I haven't even gotten all of it just from this video. I'm still cutting. I'm looking over and seeing a whole bunch of them that need to be, because they're already pretty much ready to go to seed, and I already don't want any more. I have huge amounts of these guys as it stands. So it's a fairly simple process, and I'm hoping The Miss T likes them. I'm going to be sending her some other seeds and a special surprise. Something I really, really enjoy that I think she'd love. And it isn't a plant, but I still think she'd love it. Anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.